Content marketing generates 3 times as many leads, costs 62% less, and has a 6 times higher conversion rate than outbound marketing tactics like advertising. But what exactly is it? Hi, I'm Sarah Lefevre, founder of Localize, and for the last 10 years I've led the digital content strategy for 2 of Australia's largest real estate groups. In fact, my strategy underpins 3 REB Digital Presence of the Year awards. I've created content strategies for individual agents and offices, and collectively my programs have found thousands of leads for office sales funnels. This series is all about me sharing what I've learnt the hard way to teach you how to take your content marketing to the next level. Today, I'm going to take you through exactly what content marketing is and why it's so important for you and the success of your business. Up until about 5 years ago, a homeowner looking to sell their home would invite 4 to 5 agents in for a property appraisal before they decided who was going to sell their property. Their choice of agent came down to how well they connected with the agent, their sales presentations, possibly a referral from a friend, and more often than not, really just who they trusted the most. But fast track to today's market, homeowners now only invite on average 1 to 2 real estate agents in for a property appraisal. Why? Because they've pretty much done all their research online and have decided who they're going to choose to sell their home long before they've actually contacted an agent. How have they made that decision, and how can you make sure that you're on their shortlist? And this is really where content marketing fits and why it's so valuable for lead generation and for real estate businesses. To explain why it's important, I thought let's look at sort of a scenario to explain how this process flows. So imagine a property owner who lives in an area that you service, who doesn't know you or really any other agent in the suburb, is starting to think about whether they should sell their home and downsize. Their first point of call for them is Google and social media channels, and that's where they start to research. They look for what properties are sold in the area, how much properties are selling for, what's on the market, what's happening in that wider property market, what's happening in their local property market, what are their options and where can they move to. This is the stage, what we call the awareness stage, really, when they're starting to begin to familiarise themselves with their options. They don't really know what they don't know, and they're just trying to work out what the process is, get to grips with selling their home, and before they dive into deeper and actually talk to any type of real estate agent. The next stage is the consideration stage. And this stage is focused on when comparing agents in the area. They're looking at who's active in their suburb, they're reading local blogs, they're jumping on YouTube, they're looking at who's selling similar properties, who appears to be, I suppose, the thought leader, and has a strong personal brand in the neighbourhood. They're basically creating a short list of 1 to 2 agents for them to contact. So from a Google standpoint, they're searching for terms like, who's the best agent in the area? What are the steps to selling? How do I sell my property for the most amount of money? That's a big one. Who's the best agent in the area? I want a local market report. How much would my property be worth? Etc, etc. They're really exploring. So now that they've got that point where they've got a good idea about who is the best agent in the area, and they've sort of narrowed that down, they're now moving on to the third and final stage of the journey, the decision stage. And they might look at reviewing and perhaps possibly some review sites or talking to neighbours. But it's at this point that they're going to say, okay, I've finalised my 1 to 2 agents and I'm going to contact them and invite them in for a property appraisal. So from a Google perspective, they're searching for from a Google perspective, they're searching for terms like, I'd like a property appraisal, the contact details of an agent who's on their shortlist. They're possibly looking at social media searches just to double check that there's nothing really dodgy. And then they make contact with their 1 to 2 agents of choice. So as you can see, if you don't have that consistent, relevant and valuable content online, you're not going to have a strong digital presence, and you're just simply not going to be found when property owners are doing their research and trying to find the best agent to sell or manage their property. So digital content is critical to your success. So what are some examples of real estate content marketing? I'm going to dive into some of these in more detail in the further episodes, and in particular I want to look at the importance of audio and video content and how they represent the biggest opportunity for you and your brand. But here's a shopping list, if you like, of what content that you could look to create. You've got local blog posts. These are the cornerstone of a content marketing strategy and really valuable content, industry news. It's what, if you're writing consistently, you invariably come across as an industry expert, which is obviously helps you from a building trust perspective in your community. And Google, obviously Google will find you. How-to articles, as the name suggests, these really are articles that provide a structure. Often it's a step-by-step solutions to problems that your customers are trying to solve. Listicles, these are actually some of the most powerful for SEO. and when articles are written in a list form, numbered lists basically. Longer form articles, which I love, these are like 2,000 plus word articles. They're written as sort of a definitive source, so the ultimate guide to selling in your suburb, for instance. It's great for SEO, it's obviously great for thought leadership, and often sellers in particular who are bombarded with tons of choices for information find that sort of a curated go-to source very valuable assets. Ebooks, guides, workbooks is obviously another form of content. They're similar to long-form articles, but importantly, they're positioned as premium content and often require a reader to provide their email address, which is great for you. It generates leads, but it's also, you start to build up your database, which is very important. And then you can nurture those obviously through your sales funnels. Another type of content is white papers. So these are sort of research-based reports. They're typically, again, longer than a blog. And they're often highly sought after, so they could be market reports or insights, for instance, that you could be sharing about your neighbourhood. They also normally are only shared once visitors give email addresses, so again, great for data capture. Video content, so this is currently the darling of the marketing world, and I'm going to talk a lot more about these in further episodes because this is gold. It's actually really where you need to be to carve out a space for you in the content marketing world. Audio content, this is on a meteoric rise, and I'm sure many of you obviously enjoy listening to podcasts, and people often prefer to consume content during their daily routine, so being there and having content is really important. Visual content, that could be memes, social posts, infographics, poster quotes. That type of content is also obviously very popular on social media. Email marketing, that's probably the last one I'm going to talk about today, is this is sort of often the forgotten piece actually of content marketing puzzle, but they are crucial to helping convert potential clients into qualified leads. Getting this program working obviously takes skill and often best done in conjunction with a content marketing agency, but doesn't have to be. The agents that get more invitations to conduct property appraisals are the agents who have a strong online presence and who are providing their community with consistently created, relevant and valuable content. So I hope this video has helped explain what content marketing is and why it's really so valuable for real estate agents. In my next episode, I want to introduce the single biggest content opportunity that I see for you guys, which is episodic content, and explain what it is and why you need to be on this train, and really quickly.